very important. So honestly, we need a packed house. So those of you who are here, that just gets you in the know. And I will just say, don't stop. You're a senior. Most of you guys have been committed and connected for 4 years. Don't stop now, because it is vital. The choices that the seniors make between now and really November sets the tone for their opportunities moving forward. There's been a lot of stuff that has happened between July and now that really can make a difference. So if we have been on it, you guys know that. You're getting a lot of mailings from colleges, you're getting information that's coming from about opportunities and those kind of things. If not, that's why we're having a meeting, because it's not too late. Definitely not too late, but we don't want to keep waiting because we will start missing deadlines. And once we hit November, we have missed out on some of our opportunities. So that's why you're here. Those parents who are not here, we're gonna encourage you to do the same thing, because we're gonna stream this and get it out to the parents so that we know. I know personally, because I have a senior this year. Now, my daughter probably was in the best, I had the best opportunity of anybody, because I've been a high school principal for 11 years. So I know, I guess, the story. So I was able to kind of keep her pushing along, but I also want to make sure my parents are in the same boat and that you know the story. So number one, do not leave it up to the student. They are teenagers. I don't care how smart they are, how resourceful, and how responsible. They are a teenager, and no matter what, they can be distracted. They will miss deadlines. They will have a plan, and when you're a teenager, you feel like your one plan is the only plan that matters. When you get older, you know you need to make multiple plans, because that one plan may not work out, and usually doesn't. The one place that I said I was going to go to school and this is what I'm going to do, and that didn't work. That plan died on the vine before it ever got started. And that's what happens with kids. So when we start talking to you guys about Tennessee Promise and those kind of things, there's a lot of kids, when I say, hey, have you done your Tennessee Promise, they tell me, oh man, I'm going to UT. Oh, you are? Yeah, they don't take Tennessee Promise. I'm going to UT Knoxville. You applied yet? No, when I need to do that. And I say, well, folks started applying for UT about a month or 2 months ago. They already sending scholarships out. Or they'll say, no, I'm playing, my goal is I'm going to play ball, I'm going to play basketball for Kentucky. I don't need Tennessee Promise, they don't accept that. Oh, I didn't know you played basketball. Oh, I don't. I play for the church. But that's the plans, and there's nothing wrong with making them, but that's more like a dream. You know, it's one thing to have a dream to do something. A plan, you have to be making provisions, and you have to be taking steps to make that come to fruition. So, as parents, we have to keep our students grounded and don't trust them. My daughter is smart and she's responsible, but I don't trust her further than this front row. So we're not going to leave it up to her. Now, once she gets on, she get in school or get in an opportunity, it's on her. But it's on us to put them in the right position. And now that may be wrong, and maybe people need to just suffer the consequences, but you know, if you leave your children up to suffer their own consequences, up to their own demise, we're in trouble. So I need my parents to stay connected. If you ever have the feeling like, I think I should have heard something about this by now, chances are you should. You probably already had the information go out. They just didn't bring it home. Every senior, at least all the seniors who reported, which was a good chunk of our seniors, have received a packet. In that packet, we've laid out all types of information that they need to be, that one, keeps them connected with the counselor and things that they need to be doing. There was information that should have come back in already from the students and the parents into the counseling office. Now, we set that deadline early because we know that we weren't going to get them all. So if it hadn't happened, that's okay, you can do it. But there's things that we need from the students as we plan out this year. If you're not sure about that, just ask the counselors. I want to introduce Miss Kendra Smith. If you haven't met her, she's in the back right there. If y'all turn around and look at her, she is your lifesaver for the rest of this year. She is the senior counselor. She is the only counselor that works with seniors. Now, all the counselors will assist, but if you want to hear from the source, you see Miss Smith. She will know every student by name before we get through probably half the semester. She wouldn't know them by name now, but we have some new students, and half of them are virtual and not on campus. But she will know every student pretty soon, senior, and what they're trying to do, if they're communicating. She will know most of the parents, especially if you're doing what I tell you to do and be connected and wear her out. Send her emails and ask questions. She'll know you too. And the great thing is she's got the spirit where she wants to make sure they do well. And she's going to communicate and she's going to stay in contact with you. You guys will probably hear about our text system where she communicates with the seniors all the time. Anything that's going on, she sends out scholarships. I know my wife gets them all the time. So you probably could be right in that loop and make sure that you're doing it and make sure that you're on. But number one, don't leave it up to the students. I know that they're good kids and we have a great bunch of kids, but we got to push them over the finish line. So stay connected. Don't leave it up to them. Ask questions if you are unsure. Make sure you do that. And then one thing I'll say as we keep moving on, don't pass on any opportunities. I'll just do a testimonial. My daughter has applied to about 30 schools. No, some of those places I know she's not going. Don't have a thought. However, if Walt Disney University or somewhere calls us and says, hey, we're going to pay your daughter to come here. We got this great program. It matches exactly what she wants to do. Not only are we going to pay you, we're going to give you a little money. We may even move her up here. I might listen. Well, Mickey Mouse University or not. We'll go see it. Because that, it's an opportunity. Now, we may come back and say, no, we're not going to do Mickey Mouse University. We got another. But if that was their only opportunity, and it's a chance for my daughter to further her education, well, I'm going to give it I'm going to tell her we're going to have to give it a try. But if I say, from the very beginning, we're not applying for Mickey Mouse University. I don't like the name. Sound fishy. Well, we never get that. We never get the opportunity. So you need to encourage your students to apply and look at every opportunity. Not only universities. If they want to go out to the workforce, there's opportunities coming up with that. There's the Loop program where they can apply, where they can work in a factory and get a leg up on somebody else. Great jobs. But we need to be listening for those opportunities. So we want you to do that. We want you to stay committed. We want you to stay connected. And don't pass on any opportunities. A couple things that we're going to tell you today, and I'm going to let them get into the details. There is a deadline coming up for Tennessee Promise. We're going to talk about that, but I want to just impress upon you the importance. Tennessee Promise deadline is November the 2nd. One of the best things that ever happened in local, state education is when they decided to allow any and every high school senior to go to a community college or trade school for free. That was unheard of. When I was in school, if you graduated and you wanted to go out there and get a degree and go to trade school or whatever, or go to Jackson State where a lot of my buddies went their first 2 years, you had to pay for it. Or you had to find some money, or you had to get Pell Grants, or you had to do something. Nobody was going to pay for it for you. Now these students can do it. So every student. But we don't have 100% who signed up. And the deadline is November 2nd. Because we don't know. What happens if it's a pandemic? I don't care if my daughter is thinking she's going to go to Las Vegas somewhere and be in school. If it's a pandemic, she may be in Jackson State. Why would I want to pay for that when I can just have done this application, she can go free? So that's choices and that's opportunity. So we need to make sure we're on it. Last thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give it over to the counselors, and this is I'm just gonna tell them myself. Some of it you may have to do. Now, we want our kids to be responsible. We want them to be great students, and I'm gonna have to edit this out the video before I send it. But I'm not gonna leave it up to her. Some of it I'm gonna do. If it's a deadline for Tennessee Promise, I could say, well, get it or don't. But guess who's gonna have to pay for Jackson State if she don't? Me. That's not a lesson for her. That's a lesson for me. So I already know what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna do it. And what happens if she say, well, I don't like Mickey Mouse University, I'm not applying. I don't like this university got 2 years as the mascot. I'm gonna say, well, that's good for you. Well, when you got enough money to pay for your education, you can make them kind of choices. But right now, that's up to the grown folks. So I'm not telling you to write the essays. I'm not telling you to put your own personal information in the application. But I don't see a thing wrong with sitting right there and knocking them out. There's some common apps that you can use where you do one application, you can send it to multiple schools. You have to almost walk them through this because they haven't done it before. We're here to help you. We're looking forward to it. We're excited. We want you to stay connected with us. My door is always open. Many of you have already been in my office this year. Ms. Smith, let her take over now. But again, if you have questions at the end, I'll be here and you can come and speak with us at that time.
Good morning, everybody. I appreciate you being here. We are partners in the senior year. We want to make sure that your students have everything that they need, not only to reach graduation, but to reach their potential beyond. So your attendance here and those that are joining us online, we appreciate the support. The first thing that Mr. Bridgman mentioned was staying connected. Just from a quick glance across the crowd that's here today, I know that many of you are already on our text group. The first slide that we have is going to give you some more information if you have not yet joined the text group and would like to. I do have a separate group for parents and students. So if you have not yet joined, this gives you information about how you could do so. If you need to communicate, it's a great way to ask a quick question. I, as Mr. Bridgman mentioned, also will send out blanket text messages to provide information about scholarship opportunities, campus visits, community service opportunities, all sorts of different things that are relevant to the senior year. So the most important thing is to make sure that you feel connected and that you can ask questions at any time that you would need to. The next slide will give the student groups. If any students still need to join, I would encourage them to do so. We met with seniors the week before fall break, and each student received a packet. It was either a blue packet or a yellow one, and there is detailed information in there about how to join. So ask your senior for this packet if you know that they still need to join or that you do, and there's specific information that will give you the instructions on how to do so. Graduation day, that's our goal at this point. It will come. This has been the most unique school year that I think our students have experienced, our staff has experienced as a parent. I know it's been very different for you guys as well, but we have this common goal. Our graduation date will be in May 2021 at the Oman Arena. As soon as our date is confirmed, I will be sending that information out so that families can make plans, travel plans for those that want to come in for the ceremony and for those that want to plan parties and all the celebrations that come along with. So we really look forward to this day, and as soon as those details are confirmed, I'll be sure and send those out. As we lead up to graduation day, we work hard to ensure that every senior has met their graduation requirements. In the senior packet that was distributed for each student, the student received a copy of their high school transcript, which displays a record of all the classes that the student has taken, all the credits that they've earned. Also, each student had an individualized copy of a graduation checklist, so that if you need to make sure that you know exactly which classes your senior needs for graduation, that would be indicated through the transcript and that checklist. So if you've not yet had an opportunity to review that, I would encourage you to do so at your earliest convenience. If there is a senior that has not yet picked up their packet, those are available for pickup at any time during school hours in the counselor's office. There's also a packet there that we ask for the students to complete, review with parents, get some signatures, and return. So again, we have set a deadline for those that has passed, but of course we are still glad to accept those at any time. We want our parents to make sure that they feel confident in the knowledge that they have that their senior is doing everything that they need to do and enrolled in the classes that they need for graduation. The list behind me shows the specific credits that are required for graduation. 22 total credits that come from a specific makeup. A student cannot graduate with 22 credits from PE. They must have specific course credits from our core subjects, English, math, science, social studies, etc. And so that list is displayed here for you. As we lead up to graduation, we've just gotten confirmed details for our cap and gown packages from Balfour. Balfour is the company that we work with for all graduation supplies. In addition to the cap and gown supplies, they also have lots of fun stuff that our seniors enjoy. T-shirts and hoodies and hats and socks and all those fun things that display their pride in being part of the class of 2021. We do have an appointment set up next week with our Balfour representative. We'll invite seniors to campus next Wednesday morning, and students will receive a big packet of information about the graduation supplies. The basic senior fee is $72, and the Balfour senior fee includes the cap, the gown, the tassel, the student's actual diploma, and a nice, pretty blue leather-bound diploma cover that students receive at graduation. So that one fee covers all of those items. As I mentioned, they also have additional items that are available for purchase that many students enjoy. Letterman jackets, class rings, hoodies, and all those sorts of things. They are optional, but sometimes that's part of the experience, and our seniors really enjoy those. So we'll be sending out information next week through that senior meeting, and the students will have a little catalog type thing to bring home to you. If you do have questions about those products, our sales staff through Balfour is wonderful to work with. They're great about answering questions, sorting through issues if they pop up, and we work very closely with them to ensure that all of our seniors have a good experience. That can be also paid for in advance. At this time, you could go ahead and order online. So I would encourage you to do so. Later in the school year, in March, they enforce a late fee. So at this point, the package is available for the flat fee of $72. The price will go up beginning March 1st. So I would encourage all of our senior families to go ahead and take care of that, and just know that it's one thing that you've been able to check off the list to be ready for graduation. A few other notes on graduation. As I mentioned, we will have Balfour here next week to meet with seniors, and I'll push out the details on those meeting times. That will be on Wednesday. Also in the senior packet, each student received a copy of all the different graduation honors and recognitions that we promote for graduation. So to the students, this means an extra cord that they may wear, or a colorful tassel, or a special medal. All the different awards that are based on academics or community service or certain coursework that they may have completed. The students really enjoy being decorated at graduation. They all stand together and wear the same gown, but they also appreciate the things that distinguish them from other students in the honors and the different recognitions that we offer. So that full list is available in the senior packet. So if a student is working towards a certain recognition, All the criteria would be listed there so that the students would know what they need to do to continue for their eligibility. We typically get a lot of questions from parents about project graduation, and this would be a parent-sponsored event, not a school event. So if any parents are interested in working to organize an event for our seniors around the graduation time, feel free to touch base with me. I'll work to connect any interested parents so that you guys can take the project and run with it. Also, students typically have questions about community service. There are a few of those graduation recognitions that have a community service component, but there are no community service hours that are required for graduation. A student could potentially graduate with 0 community service hours and still be eligible for graduation. But one of the big scholarships that we hear a lot about, the Tennessee Promise Award, does have an 8-hour requirement, 8 hours of community service requirement. So in addition to just being a good thing to do, there is a benefit to doing the community service, especially when it comes to maintaining the eligibility for the Tennessee Promise Award, but a student could graduate without having to have a huge number of service hours. Our seniors had the opportunity to take the ACT here at school in September. We've not yet received those scores back. I assume that our delay has been based on COVID, like so many things, but we hope to have those soon. For students that completed all their demographic information on their answer document, the scores are typically mailed to your home. The school will also receive a copy so that we can send that off to any colleges that the students are applying for. So we do hope to receive those scores soon. Keep an eye on your mailbox. Students also, all of our seniors also will receive a voucher. All you have to do is request it. The voucher would entitle each senior to take the test at least one additional time at no cost to them. And I do have those available currently, so if you would like for your senior to take the test later this fall, there are dates available in November and December, and then several dates through the spring. And so that voucher could be used to alleviate the cost associated with that test. I would love for our seniors to have at least 2 test scores on file, if not more. We also have the opportunity for students to take the test additionally if they are eligible for a fee waiver. A fee waiver is based on household size and income. If the financial piece is a barrier for a student to take the test again, the fee waiver allows that student to take the test up to 2 additional times at no cost. So a student could potentially take the test 4 times at no cost to them. So if you think you or your family might be eligible for that fee waiver, I have some eligibility forms out on the table out front. They're also available in the guidance office. I could also email one to you if you would need it. We would love to work with you to get that sorted out if you think that's something that your student could take advantage of. The ACT is one of the main factors that a lot of colleges typically consider, but this year, many colleges have said, we understand that our seniors have not had the same opportunities to take the test as they would have normally. So many colleges are waiving the ACT requirement, or they are potentially just not putting as much emphasis on that test score and focusing more on students' GPA, grades, and classes to make decisions for admissions. We, of course, need every student to have an ACT score on file, as it is a graduation requirement. In addition to those 22 courses, students must have an ACT score on file to be eligible for their diploma. If you haven't already, it is time. As Mr. Bridgman mentioned, it is time to begin college applications. For seniors, I typically recommend that you spend the fall working on college applications and scholarship money directly through the colleges, through their programs and their scholarship offices. Most every college that you could imagine will have an admissions part to their website where you can access that admissions application. Most of these are done online. Students typically create a short little account, input some demographic information, their name, their address, their high school, and complete a few steps and hit submit. It's not a tedious process. They don't ask for a lot of details typically on the front end, but it is something that once you kind of get going, you get a momentum and it feels a lot easier to do. Most seniors that I've been working with this week on this specific project have commented on how easy the process is, much easier than they thought it would be. So I would encourage students to get started on that. There are some applications that are a little more lengthy that may require essays or some additional information, and that is a normal part of the process also, but it's typically not as bad as I think many of our seniors anticipate it to be. I would encourage you to spend some time working on those things in baby steps. Just start one, maybe do another one next week, and the process becomes easier each step along the way. We talked about the fee waiver a few moments ago, about the ACT. Many of the colleges will also offer a fee waiver for their application fees. Not every college, but many. Most colleges have an application fee that may range from $25 to $50, possibly even more. So sometimes it can be expensive to work on numerous college applications. I would encourage students to pursue those that are offered during free periods. There are some colleges that are always free to apply for. Jackson State, the TCAT Center, Bethel, and I think Union right now is still running a little promo code that I can send out again. So students may want to be selective in where they apply and make sure that they're willing to come up with those application fees for those colleges and not just apply willy-nilly. But there are those fee waiver programs available for those who may need the financial assistance. Speaking of financial assistance, a big piece of the senior year and a lot of the questions that parents will have concern the financial aid side of things. The big thing to remember right now is the FAFSA, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. You'll hear that an acronym quite a bit, and it's a big piece of the senior year and the financial aid side of sending a student to college. The application for this current year's senior class has opened. It opened on October 1st. If you've already attempted the application, you may know that it's not as intimidating as it first seems, but they do ask a lot of nosy questions about your household, your income. This is all in an effort to try to determine how much money the student may need to go to college, how much money the family may have prepared or saved to set aside to send the student, and also there are several pieces tied to the state and federal funding, which is mentioned on the next slide. The FAFSA covers several buckets of money. The state of Tennessee has aligned with our federal application to ensure that those that complete the FAFSA are considered for both federal funds, which are typically based on household income, but also state funds, which may be based on academics or, for example, Tennessee Promise eligibility, the Hope Scholarship. Some of those also have a financial need component. Our state application is the FAFSA. The one application covers money from the federal government as well as our state government. So again, this ties into our Tennessee Promise and our Hope Scholarship eligibility. We want to make sure that you have all the help that you need to complete the FAFSA. We will be having a couple of workshops. Our first one will be in November, which is just a couple weeks away. On Friday, November 6th, we'll have a couple of experts on campus that will be able to offer assistance with the FAFSA if you need it. You may have already been into the application and started the process. If you have gotten so far and gotten to a point where you need help, this is a great day to come in. We'll have appointments set up so that we'll have a certain designated time for those that need to come. Of course, we will be in a socially distanced setting and all wear our masks so that we can do so safely. But we want to make sure that all of our parents, all of our senior families have access to that help if they need it. We've also set up a date in January where we'll offer an additional workshop. This date is very strategic because the deadline for Tennessee Promise eligibility to have completed the FAFSA is right at the beginning of February. So this would give you one additional opportunity to complete the FAFSA with help, if you need it, shortly before that Tennessee Promise deadline. Speaking of Tennessee Promise, the initial deadline that Mr. Bridgman mentioned is coming up soon. November 2nd is the deadline for the initial application. We've had about 90 of our seniors to complete the initial application. That's not enough though. We need all of them to do so. 90 students is about 40% of our senior class, and we want to make sure that 100% of our seniors have this opportunity. If anyone would like to stay after the meeting today to work on their child's Tennessee Promise Scholarship application, I would be glad to help you. If you want to verify that your student has completed the application because they told you they did or you think they did, feel free to check with me. The text group is a great way to reach out. You can send me a message and I'll be glad to pull my list and confirm which students have completed the scholarship. That application again is November 2nd. There was a flyer on the front table, I believe it was bright yellow, if you need step-by-step instructions on how to complete that application. There are some additional deadlines throughout the year. The Tennessee Promise program is good to remind you of those deadlines, and I will do so through the text group as well. Each senior is permitted 2 college days that they can use as an excused absence from school to visit colleges. That may look a little bit different this year because not every college has the opportunity to do tours, but they've also shifted gears and made available lots of opportunities for virtual tours and online experiences that students can do even if they're not able to physically visit a campus. If you would like to physically visit campuses, it's a great way to see how the student fits in, if they're enjoying the dynamic of that campus. It sometimes helps to make some of those tough decisions when students are really trying to figure out where they would feel most comfortable to spend their college career. So the students are able to take 2 college days where they would visit campuses if they'd like. While on the campus, we would simply ask that they get a letter from the college to bring back to the school verifying the date of their visit. That would allow us to code their attendance accordingly. Each student would have that opportunity. Senior pictures, also a lot of parents have questions about this. The Red Art Photography Studio is our official photographer for senior photos. For those that want to have their senior picture in the yearbook, for ladies, the drape picture, or for gentlemen, the tux, those would all come through Red Art. The website is listed here for you, and I will also send out this information on the text group. They do have a couple of dates that they were promoting for our seniors for next week. Monday and Tuesday, I believe, are those dates, October 26th and 27th. So if you've not yet had the opportunity to take senior pictures, you still could. You would simply book through their website and follow the steps from there. Here's my contact information. If you need anything, please keep in touch. As Mr. Bridgman says, I have parents that I speak with regularly. We work closely together and I'm here for you. If you need to call, this is my direct office number. If you need an email address, it's there for you. I'm good about email. And then of course we also have the text group. So please feel free to keep in touch, ask questions at any time, and anything that you need that we can work together on, just know that I'm your support piece. We have the same goals and I look forward to watching your students walk across the graduation stage in May.
Good job, Ms. Smith, and we are on time. I'm excited. You are too. All right, couple things. Want to share 2 things with you that, as I said, I'm going through the same struggle that you are right now with a senior, but there are 2 things I really was not familiar with that we have used in my house that has been awesome. There are some common applications. If you do one app, several colleges will take that one application. You just select the school that you want to send it to. And so when I said we've applied for like 30, well, we didn't sit down and do 30 different applications. We did the Common App, and then we just selected the schools to send it to. Ms. Smith touched on it, but she didn't dig in on it. There are a bunch of schools that have a window, and some of them have already passed, but there's still others that have a window where there is no application fee. So you can send your application to the school with no fee. And a lot of times you can find that by using the Common App. So the Common App is www.commonapp.org. That's one we use. I think there's several, but we had a lot of luck with that one. I also want to share the other one because there were some HBCUs, some historically black colleges that we wanted to apply to, and they are not on the Common App, a lot of them. But there is a Common App for HBCUs, and we used that one, and I was able to get my daughter applied with several historically black, and being an HBCU grad, I definitely wanted her to at least consider those. And the app that we used was www.commonblackcollegeapp.com. So those are two that if you just sit down and get those two applications started, you can pick hundreds of schools that you may be interested in. Now there are some schools that are not on the Common App. It's not universal. So some colleges are pretty particular. They want you to use their own application. But between those two, most of the schools that we were interested in applying for were able to do so. So tap into that and definitely look for those schools that are allowing free application. We pretty much, any school that pops up, if it will accept the free application, we try it. We send it through. And so, my wife was fussing saying, we're not gonna send our baby to New York. Again, I can't say that. I believe in, depending on what the offer is. We've been there and visited. We enjoyed it. So she might go to school there. But I want you guys to have that same attitude. Same attitude. Some schools, they may come up, pop up, well, that's a small school. What's wrong with that? What are the people able to do when they leave there? Are they being successful? Are they graduating a lot? What's the retention rate? What's the rate? What's the rate of citizenship? How many students are coming back after freshman year? So you just got to look at all that. A couple other things. If you have questions about senior pictures, I don't know if she introduced Ms. Dunlap. If you'll raise your hand. She is over our yearbooks and she is over our pictures. So she works with Red Art Studio. So if you had questions, she could help you walk through that. But please get those taken because I tell the students, you guys know because it was important to us. 10, 15 years from now, we want to be able to come back to school and find ourselves on the wall. Or at the very least, you want to, if somebody finds a 2021 yearbook and they say, oh, here goes your yearbook. Well, you're going to want to be in it. Now, right now, that's one of those things by young people. They may think, I don't want a picture. 20 years from now, when their child, or 25, 30 years from now, their child walking through here saying, Mom, I found a yearbook, you're not in it. That's when it hurts. So make sure you get those pictures, at least the basic pictures so you can be in the yearbook. Also, senior parents, there's some special stuff you can do for your baby in the yearbook. They can have pages, they can have half pages, baby pictures. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, but that's normally the case. And they don't want it until the yearbook comes out. Then, I don't want y'all up here coming to my office talking about why my baby picture not in there. The yearbook printed. Think about those things now. You don't have to use our vendor for invitations and things like that if you choose not to, but they do a great job and it will be correct. And if it's not correct, they will fix it. Sometimes if you go and do stuff on your own, you get what you pay for. So we hope that you will go through that. Last two things. As you start getting acceptance letters, if you get an acceptance letter for a school, so if you listen to me, you go get some, and you go do these college applications and do that, you're gonna start getting some letters back saying, hey, we accept you. Here's some things we want from you to do, or for things for your student to do. Have the students take a copy of those and bring those in to the counselors. Because what we do, we start highlighting, and we put up on the wall every acceptance that any one of our seniors gets. So if they get accepted to Jackson State, they put up a little pendant with your student's name and Jackson State on the wall. And our goal is to fill the whole wall with pendants of where our students can go. They may not. So if you get 25 acceptance letters, your child's been accepted 25 different places in 25 different programs, bring a copy of those, and we want to celebrate those in the school. Any scholarships they receive, it can be as small as $5 to $50,000, whatever it is. Make a copy of those and turn those into the counselor also, because we recognize those on awards day. And sometimes we have parents upset. They'll say, Mr. Bridgman, now y'all sitting there naming off all these people that's got these scholarships. My baby got a big scholarship to so-and-so school. And all I can say is, did you turn it in? Because we don't know. Sometimes we get a notification from a school and they'll say, this scholarship has been awarded to this child, but most times, you guys are the only people that are gonna know that. So you have to tell us. If you tell us, we're gonna recognize it. That's what makes graduation or awards day a little bit long, but those are the good things. This is our last chance to celebrate with them. So please let Ms. Smith know. Make sure that might be something you need to do as mama or daddy. Get your copies and bring them in so your child can be recognized, because a lot of times they may not care. But you know you're going to be, as the old folks would say, fire hot. If you sit in awards day and you know your baby got a scholarship and we don't recognize them. So please work with us on that. That's all we got for today. We appreciate you guys. If you have any questions for anybody individually, you can come see us at the end. Thank you guys for coming in today. I ask that you be safe. Keep your mask on and encourage your kids to do the same. And we'll have another meeting probably later in the year to talk about graduation and dates and those kind of things. So have a great morning. Thank you so much for coming to our Breakfast with Bridgman and our senior parent meeting.